Welcome to TheoTrade. This is Don Kaufman. Here we are. It's March 13th, 2017. What has amounted to a light trading session over here? The S&P futures are, for the most part, largely unchanged. S&P's up 2. Just got about a minute left in the trading day. Kind of a mixed bag of goods, and what again kind of amounted to some light trade. Financials relatively unchanged. XLE, which is energy, unchanged in the trading day. So with that, we're going to talk about a couple of major underlyings, one of them being Snapchat. Yeah, I haven't mentioned Snapchat yet on one of these Theo Night videos. Why? Listen, I am no fan of IPOs. Why? Well, first of all, the statistics of the IPO, they're not good. Second of all, this IPO listed options. It listed options. You're like, well, isn't that a good thing, Don? Don't you trade options? Yes. When they first list options, okay, people have to be aware of something. They list options using 5-cent increments. No penny increments. Here's a fun fact. I always like to save people money when you can. And when you start toggling into the options in here, you can only kind of toggle in 5-cent increments, but very few people are aware of this, okay? You can actually route into these marketplaces, even in Snapchat, a brand new IPO, all right, in penny increments. So I just want to show this to you so that you see it, okay? This is a market that was 35 at 40. I'm just routing away from the market. I'm trying to buy something here for 29 cents, but I want to let you know, it allows you to trade between the markets. But if you just go out there, let me cancel this order before I forget, but if you just go out there, you try to trade Snap options, okay? What's going to happen is they're only going to move in 5-cent increments. Now, those 5-cent increments, they're brutal to people like you and I. Why? We're retail clients. You think about a $21 stock, that has 5 and 10 cent wide markets, and those are the 4-day options. Go out like 39 days, all right? They're going to be like 10 cents wide, okay? There's the closing bell. But they're going to be like 10 cents wide. Is that fair for you? Absolutely not. The amount of edge you're going to give up, it's only 5 cents. Yeah, it's 5 cents on maybe one contract, which is the equivalent, okay, of $5. And again, people always complain about commissions. And I just last week, I did an order execution class. We call it Definitive Guide to Order Execution. And I talked expressly about this because how much edge do you give up? On each trade over here. And I know people are like, oh, I'm so hot to want to trade, options on Snap. And other people are like, oh, by the way, if you really want to know, I'm not a fan of Snapchat. I'm not. I took a position. Okay. I have this one thing that it's just a saying, if you're going to talk negatively about a stock, okay, don't open your mouth unless you're short the stock in some way, shape, or form. I am short the stock. Therefore, I am allowed to say, I don't like this thing. All right. I don't like it. I don't have to like it. Okay. I spent 15 years in the brokerage industry and I've watched hundreds of IPOs. A handful of them worked out very well. A handful. Literally. You can name them. All right. The Google. Okay. I mean, I started trading even like when Amazon went public. Yeah. I remember that late 90s. All right. It was a long time ago, but I was actually involved in the original Google IPO as well. And that one went really well. Yeah, I sold it at about $200. Anyway, with Snapchat over here, not a big fan. When a company has near a $30 billion valuation, what do? It's a picture, but it disappears. Anyway, forget about Snapchat. Okay, what I really wanted to talk about regarding Snap was very specific to the bid offer spreads in here that nobody ever thinks twice. They just go in here and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy some of these. I'm going to sell some of these. Okay. And they don't even think to recognize that the bid offer spreads are wider in there. And even when you're routing spreads in here, like a spread, like a 22-23 call spread, it's still moving again in 5-cent increments. Put penny increments in. They go, well, why don't they let you do that? Like, how come nobody tells me this stuff? Nobody tells you that stuff because is that in their best interest? No. Right? I mean, the brokerage firm out there, hey, listen, they know, but they're not there to publicly say like, oh, don't trade options on Snap just yet because it's not fair. But you got to go out and you've actually got to price these things effectively. So if you're going to trade options in Snap, price it using penny increments. Forget this 5-cent increments garbage out there. Anyway, with that, Snap, it's been slowly slipping to the downside and lower volume out there. Overall, the volatility, and I've seen a lot of IPOs okay? Volatility in the overall market is extremely light. But here in Snapchat, okay, is incredibly low given the fact that, this company has never been through earnings. We don't know anything about it. The volatility is inherently low. But I think people are excited to want to go sell options in it because its volatility looks high. Yeah, it looks high in comparison to what? Something like maybe like Facebook. All right, look at the volatility inside of Facebook. It's down to 15% in these short duration options. 55%, 60% is looking pretty good compared to that. Nevertheless, speaking of Facebook over here, and that's the other direction I want to head today, has it had a downtick since the beginning of the year? And the answer is no, not really. All right, look at the 3-year or even 5-year run here. So bringing up a 3-year chart, nothing but upside over here. And again, a slightly larger view, 5-year, taking it back to its IPO. And again, it doesn't even have a full 5 years of data, but taking it back to its IPO when it originally came out at 42, dropped to 17, it's off to the races. To me, what does this look like? Opportunity? No, this actually looks like a great short opportunity to me. And it's something I'm going to be kind of elaborating upon in our chat room here at TheoTrade throughout the course of this week. Again, what I think could be a fairly spectacular opportunity inside of Facebook. And it's not a bullish trade. And, stepping in the way of this, would that be stepping in the way of a freight train? Possibly, but we'll look for defined risk trades. With that, I want to thank everybody for joining us here at TheoTrade. I expect a bit more volatility as the week progresses. Why? Well, if we cruise over to the SPX, they're pricing in more volatility as the week progresses. Plain and simple. All right. These are options that expire on Friday morning. We're now priced up to a 12% volatility, and a $23 expected move. So again, lots of volatility being packed into the Wednesday, the Thursday, and the Friday of this week. Prior to that, not a whole lot. Thanks everybody here for joining us at TheoTrade. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.